I think the best thing for people in Hollywood that are entrenched in that world is to shut the fuck up. Because as soon as they start talking, people as soon as Robert De Niro starts talking, I'm like, Jesus, get that fucking microphone away from him so I can enjoy Taxi Driver.
Robert De Niro has gone so hard partisan over the past 8 years. He is like example number 1 of Trump derangement syndrome. He's one of those, I'm moving to Canada if he wins, and he's never going to leave the White House if he wins. We're going to have Trump forevermore. I mean, hello, I hate to break it to you because I realize you're advanced age too, Robert, but people die. So he will leave. One way or the other.
Robert De Niro believed he was entering a lighthearted political argument, but Megyn Kelly and Joe Rogan arrived prepared. He's being verbally attacked live on television 1 minute, and then he's giving an Oscar-worthy tirade the next. What was it that Rogan said that made Megyn Kelly burst out laughing? And why did De Niro appear to have realized that comebacks aren't accessible whenever you want them? This was a takedown, not a conversation. Take in the unprecedented roasting of a Hollywood legend.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. I love De Niro. I love those mob movies. It's like,
I don't want to hear him that he's a moron. I don't want to hear him talking about politics and about Trump supporters and just shut up.
Niro might purchase a private island where the word Trump is eternally prohibited if he received $1 each time he launched into a political diatribe akin to a method actor trapped in endless rehearsal. Rather, he uses the podiums at award shows as his stage, wildly thrashing as though the teleprompter were a sparring partner.
Like, you didn't think this through. Like, this is... And he's getting yelled at. He's doing an outside press conference. Like, Robert, you're 80 years old. Don't ruin this thing. You've had this life where you were a fucking raging bull. You know, you were in The Godfather. Like, stop doing this. Man. Don't do this.
I'm terrified to meet some of those people I looked up to now.
You should be.
I mean, like,
I've met a few of them. And it's actors in particular, because their whole business is pretend. Their whole business is pretend.
When it seemed like everyone was ignoring yet another sour tirade from the actor known for his mafia parts, 2 unexpected media personalities appeared separately and mercilessly. The king of podcasting, Joe Rogan, jumped in like he had stumbled onto the set of a mediocre political drama and tore through the script with his trademark, frankness.net.
Down like, your movies suck. That's not true.
No, his movies are very good.
Suck. He's one of the greatest actors. I mean, he's the heir apparent to Brando, blah, blah, blah. But he's a loon.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to just say what he is. He has, basically, I describe this to people. You know what's happening now? Because people are aware about concussions and the problems with CTE. When you get hit and you get a dinger in football, they put you in the blue tent, and the sideline.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen to Democrats. They need to go in the blue tent for a little bit, kind of, get your eyes checked, and then come out and be rational again.
Yeah, cool off
and De Niro needs to go in the blue tent. I mean, because it's not calming things down. We need to
retaliated with uncensored commentary from his podcast, Realm. While De Niro gave his theatrical monologues to golden statues and half-drowsy Ellis, he refrained from using explicit language. But let's just say that the scathing criticism was as well-fitting as a pair of custom-made Italian leather
Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Now, Kurt's convinced that Robert De Niro's on some kind of Epstein list or some kind of thing like that, and that he's afraid that if Trump does get power, he's going to expose him, and he is actually going to come at him.
Of course Kurt thinks
That's
that.
what Kurt thinks that.
Kurt thinks that about every fucking thing that happens in the world.
I think Robert De Niro's just got Trump derangement syndrome.
I think he's old, too. There's a thing about old men.
And
they want to yell at everybody.
And he's completely... Did you see when he went and gave that speech outside of the trial? That was bizarre.
Told him that was a good idea?
And then
made his point without mentioning De Niro. Rather, he drew a scathing parody of actors who confuse having a real understanding of geopolitics with playing scary dudes on TV. According to Rogan, some celebrities believe they are entitled to give speeches to voters about democracy because they have recited lines about justice and honor in a mob movie. It's like a barista telling NASA that it's rocket science because they blended a cappuccino with style. Playing veto for decades doesn't make you an expert on world affairs. With the dexterity of a UFC takedown, Rogan broke this Hollywood habit with his trademark blend of humor and unwavering criticism. By comparing a Screen Actors Guild card to an international policy certificate, he mocked the notion that notoriety equates to skill, the notion that red carpet fame equates to universal authority was more important to Rogan than politics. Rogan's takedown didn't need to be loud to land its punches because it was delivered with his trademark mix of half-amused incredulity. The nuanced remarks were sufficient to expose the harsh reality that celebrity influence is not the same as legitimacy. Even though De Niro's name was left out, it lingered in the background like an implicit title warning about an actor who sacrifices gravity for resentment.
Robert De Niro, who's got a severe case of the TDS, is in France right now, as all of the muckety-mucks are. And he's very unhappy about what Trump is doing to try to keep filmmaking, American filmmaking, in America by slapping tariffs on foreign-made films so that he can basically try to force people to make them domestically again for the American audience that they're meant to serve. And here's what De Niro said on Tuesday.
America's Philistine president has had himself appointed head of one of our premier cultural institutions.
Kelly then entered the discussion, where Rogan provided humor and sarcasm. Kelly showed up with the accuracy of someone who was prepared to make amends. Her scathing criticism of Hollywood loudmouths who confuse Oscars speeches with political sermons was obvious. She didn't even need to name De Niro. Kelly was cut and dissected in a clinical manner. She focused on the ridiculousness of actors posing as political sages who are unaffected by the policies they advocate. Without making fun of resumes or her argument brought to light a terrible irony. Celebrities use award show stages as temporary platforms for their campaigns because they want the recognition of influential people, without having to deal with the weight of their real expertise. Claims that these acts are damaging in addition to making people uncomfortable. Hollywood celebrities who pose as moral role models foster an echo chamber where praise is given for their notoriety rather than their accomplishments. She believes that this type of activism is not merely theatrical. It is incredibly disjointed, with individuals posing as reformers ignoring the real-world repercussions.
And then he starts yelling at regular people. He's like, fuck you, you're a gangster. Fuck you.
Like, it's crazy that that's the guy from Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
You know what? Also, I think those guys have no friends. I think the only friends they have are Hollywood phonies. And so you're in this weird world where everybody you talk to is a phony, and you become a phony, and everyone's a phony, and your grasp on reality is very slippery, and your eyes are going, right? Mm-hmm. So your vision of the world, your actual vision of the world, your ability to read a phone. You ever see old people's text messages? The fucking text on their phone is like as big as my hand.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And so your vision of the world is blurring, literally and figuratively, and then you're getting old, and when old people are tired and cranky, they just want everyone to listen to them, and they don't have time to have a calm conversation. And you state out your opinion, I'll state my opinion. Let's see where we have common ground. Get off my...
Hypocritical. Kelly reserved her savages. It's a circle of shallow rhetoric. In sheltered echo chambers, great speeches are given to equally great acclaim. Kelly finds it absurd that actors in gated mansions would give lectures about justice. They leave in cars costing more than most homes after preaching about justice from Oscar-adorned podiums. One word sums up her criticism: honesty. After years of being pampered and lauded, audiences are sick of hearing millionaires preach to them. Eventually, the cameras stop filming, the costumes are removed, and all that's left is a person holding onto a facade. The sharp contrast between Rogan's and Kelly's criticisms was what made them so powerful. The unassuming podcast king, Rogan, made fun of the act with irreverence and comedy. Kelly, the scathing media veteran, expertly broke down the facade. To make their arguments, they didn't have to agree. Despite their differing perspectives, they came to the same conclusion. Kelly destroyed the stage, and Rogan made fun of the performance.
Well, it's a global problem because it's the greediness of these studios and some of these actors that, make a lot more money overseas than they would here. But I look at the film industry in the United States, and my father worked in the film industry in Boston. He was a transportation coordinator for the Teamsters Union, so I know a little bit about it. I look at the film industry as we have some of the most creative people.
The fact that actors like De Niro take themselves so seriously makes Rogan laugh uncontrollably. Kelly, however, finds it blatantly concerning. The message is very obvious, even though their tones differ, from a cinematic statesman to a suit-clad joker. Robert De Niro has changed. The worst part, he doesn't seem to be aware of it. The great thing about indirect roasts is that they don't require a reaction from the target. The quiet says a lot since the ridiculousness is so obvious. Kelly didn't give Rogan a discussion time, and he didn't need De Niro to counter. Like prosecutors analyzing the same crime scene, they only presented their cases, each offering a distinct critique. Nothing better exemplifies how De Niro's performance has evolved into inadvertent comedy than two media figures from vastly disparate backgrounds focusing on the same problem. These days, the actor's flaming outbursts are loud, dramatic, and oddly self-assured, lie someone yelling at birds in a park. While Kelly's audience nodded in agreement with her sharp critique of out-of-touch elites, Rogan's audience screamed at his satirical, sarcastic remarks about Hollywood's political cosplay. The agreement: you are not entitled to lead the next international discussion just because you are the star of Raging Bull.
Why is he talking about this? Why is he talking about this publicly?
I'm going to say one thing. Trump.
If you're going to come out and say that you have a really deep-seated hatred for one of the two people running for president, you can't just be, he's a bully, he's a piece of shit, I hate him.
He's an idiot. Colin Powell said it best. He's a national disaster. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has.
Probably, if you're going to express yourself about it and alienate 50% of the country, which it seems like it is, you're going to have to do better than
The actor who used to play realistic, grounded characters now seems to be floating miles above the ground, which is an intriguing contradiction. De Niro's recent political outbursts seem more like shouting tweets in all caps than they do like activism. When a master chef puts American cheese on a charcuterie board and calls it gourmet, it's like that. Despite their different professional paths, Rogan and Kelly share the belief that the public deserves better than wealthy tantrums presented as moral leadership. De Niro seems like an irate uncle on social media, and his remarks don't motivate people to change. Influence without insight is only noise. As true changemakers know, De Niro's roar, however, has recently become the Joker warning about unrealized potential.
About the garbage outside today. Robert De Niro, officially sent by the Biden campaign, makes himself look like an idiot and reminds us why Trump is so popular.
It's so stupid. It was colossally stupid. If you're going to send somebody to go speak outside of the Trump trial, make it someone who's universally beloved, like a Michelle Obama. You know, she's not universally loved. She's not loved on the right. But I'm saying, like, at least within the left and the center left, and maybe even some center righties. Robert De Niro has gone so hard partisan over the past 8 years. He is like example number one of Trump derangement.
On the one hand, Rogan is the laid-back philosopher wearing a hoodie, giggling at the ridiculousness of celebrity conceit. Kelly, on the other hand, is the well-dressed prosecutor who meticulously analyzes the shortcomings. Despite having completely distinct styles, their criticism of De Niro is a wonderful fit. Two media personalities from different fields give a stinging critique of a once-admired performer in an unexpected duet. Kelly's insight pierces with the weight of someone who has witnessed it all, while Rogan's humor portrays him as amused and a little let down. Neither had to work together. They simply gave their opinions after witnessing the same spectacle, a parody of a film legend. When combined, their roasts have touched on a deeper societal criticism than just jokes.
De Niro, there's something about being a star where you think your opinion's more important than anybody else's, and you can go give a press conference, and he obviously has been very vocal from 2016 that he hates Trump for whatever reason. Maybe they have some personal thing.
You think Trump ever threw a punch himself or took one? This guy who ran and hid in the White House bunker when there were protesters outside? No way.
Now he's like holding press conferences. Now everyone's heckling him everywhere he goes.
That's so bad.
Like instead of just being this cranky old liberal, now you're this guy that is yelling at other people that are Trump supporters, and they're yelling at you. Like you've opened yourself up to this nonsense.
There's more to this than De Niro yelling into microphones like he's trying out for cloud. The musical's Old Man Yells. It is part of a broader critique of the culture of celebrities. Actors have mistaken portraying powerful roles for having influence for decades. Playing Vito Corleone, however, does not give you a place at the global policy table. And yelling like a guy tussling kitchen animals does not help your cause either. The audience collectively declares, "We've had enough." In what is a collective cultural shrug caused by Rogan and Kelly's dual takedown. Millionaires who fly private jets to give lectures have lost their allure. Neither Rogan nor Kelly craved viral attention or threw tantrums. They merely displayed a mirror. Although it was unflattering, De Niro's reflection was truthful. He has turned into a parody of himself. A warning about the boundaries of celebrity as knowledge. Rogan found the circus amusing. Kelly submitted a critical report. What about De Niro? He's currently backstage getting ready for an unasked-for encore. The irony, those who remained are now watching for the humor rather than the message, since the audience left during intermission. If there's a lesson to be learned from this, it's that taking yourself too seriously can make you the star of a roast you were unaware was taking place. And in this instance, everyone will remember the performance for all the wrong reasons.